Hey everybody, it's Dr. Val. I'm excited to be here with you on this wonderful Wednesday. I am a clinical psychologist. My area of study is in stress related illnesses and chronic disease. We know from studies that 95 to 98% of illnesses are caused by stress, including what we're talking about today, depression. My goal with these 5-minute lives, and this week the videos are a little longer than that, is to give you information, tips, and strategies that will help promote well being and help you hopefully avoid diagnosis. I am also the owner of Tranquility Hot Tubs and Med Spa. You can visit that website at www.tranquilhottubs.com. Click on services and check out the services we offer and make an appointment for you, your friend, or your family member. Also, for those women who are in the Ohio area, I am hosting a Women's Health Symposium in January. I will be speaking along with some wonderful guest speakers, and I also want you to go to the same website, www.tranquilhottubs.com. Click on upcoming events and purchase your ticket for you, a friend, and a family member. You won't be disappointed. It's going to be a good time. This week, I am using a PowerPoint, and I'm using that because we know from research, as I am a former educator, that when we show it and say it, that people remember it. And this topic this week is very important. Because we want to prevent what's been happening. And so I'm going to take myself off the screen and show you the PowerPoint, and we're going to get moving forward, okay? So, excuse me. Monday, we talked about data for suicide, the data for the suicide rates in 2021. Tuesday, we talked about depression, what is it and what causes it. Today, Wednesday, we're talking about what happens physiologically to someone who is experiencing depression. Thursday, how can you tell if someone may be experiencing a severe case of depression? And Friday, what can you do if you are the one experiencing a severe case of depression? So there's a lot of information I'm going to cover in this presentation. So just stay with me and stay attentive so that we could get the information. So I've also spoken about how in this conversation it is necessary to include God, because ultimately he is the one who heals. He is the one who can help recover. And if you haven't watched my other videos on perspective and soul wounds, go back and watch those so you can get a fuller picture, okay? All right, because God ultimately is going to be the answer, and I'm going to get into that. And if you can't hear that from me, I don't make any apologies. I just say get the part that you could get, or I understand if you don't want to watch, but that is the vein we're in today. God is the answer. But let's see what science says, because there's a place for both. All right, so Wednesday, what happens physiologically to someone who is experiencing depression? And our resources for for today are the Mayo Clinic and Harvard Health Institute. So there are biological differences and brain chemistry differences that happen with people who are experiencing depression. And for biological differences, it says that it appears that people have changes in their brains. The significance of these changes is still uncertain, but may eventually help pinpoint causes. The brain chemistry, which are the neurotransmitters, are naturally occurring brain chemicals and that likely play a role in depression. Recent research indicates that changes in the function and the effect of these neurotransmitters and how they interact with neural circuits involved in maintaining mood stability may play a significant role in depression and its treatment. So ultimately, in your brain, we have neurotransmitters, and they are not able to do their jobs effectively when someone is experiencing depression. They malfunction, if you will. So your neurotransmitters malfunction. Also, hormones in your body, the balance of your hormones may be involved in also triggering depression. Hormone changes can result with pregnancy and during the weeks of months after delivery, which we know are postpartum. We've heard of that, postpartum depression, and from thyroid problems, menopause, or a number of other conditions. So I said to you that 95 to 98% of our illnesses are caused by stress. The other 2 to 5% are caused by your DNA, your diet, and your environment. So this would encompass that 2 to 5%. Also, inherited traits. Your DNA comes from the way your family in the past has handled situations, because depression is ultimately a stress related illness, but then it goes, how do I want to say it in a way that you can understand it, it becomes more severe the longer it's not dealt with. Okay. And so many chemicals are involved, working both inside and outside the nerve cells. There are millions and billions of chemical reactions that make up this dynamic system that is responsible for your mood, perceptions, and how you experience life. And emotions are now known to be a part of the brain, not just in your heart, but a part of the brain. And it's also associated with the part of the brain that helps to regulate mood. Okay, so I know when we think about emotions in our heart, in our chest, it's really also in our mind, in our brain. So I'm sorry, take that mind out, because mind and brain are two separate things. Okay. And as I said, it helps to regulate your mood. Research shows that the hippocampus is smaller in some depressed people. The hippocampus forms and stores new memories. It is also the part of the brain that produces the fight, flight, or freeze response. So, the researchers are exploring possible links between the sluggish production of new neurons in the hippocampus, and low moods. So basically, when a person is depressed, they're not producing enough neurons, or the amount of neurons that they would normally produce. And some people have to take antidepressants, which can help increase the level of neurotransmitters. But the problem with that is this, and this is where God comes in. No medication will ever heal you. Let me get back on camera so you can see me. No medication will ever heal you. The most that a medication can do is deal with the symptoms. And so when a person takes an antidepressant for depression to help elevate their mood, the problem is that when they stop taking it, they're going to, if they haven't been healed by God, experience the same thing again, because you're not getting to the root cause of the depression. Which, if you watch, I think it was Tuesday's video on depression, the APA defines depression as extreme sadness. So you have to get to the root cause of what is the extreme sadness that a person may feel, that they might not even have words to understand or why they feel that way. But antidepressants is not going to help with that. Now, I'm not saying don't take them, because if you need them, do what you have to do. But ultimately, you know that you're going to have to come back to God. This conversation, and I will keep saying it, cannot happen without God. Okay? So here's the next point. So, activity in the amygdala, which is associated with emotions, is higher when a person is sad or clinically depressed. And this continues even after recovery from depression. This increase in activity may actually cause the amygdala to enlarge. So I got to come back on. So telling a person to just get over it, why can't you just get over it? I don't understand what the problem is. That is not helping them, and it's not validating what they feel in the moment. It's downright disrespectful, because they have so many things going on in their body their body is out of whack, and their system is trying to help them get back in alignment without success. So you cannot say to a person, just get over it. What is the problem? You're stronger than this. In our family, we don't, whatever we typically say to people. You have to know there's things going on that need to be dealt with below the surface. Okay? I'm passionate about it because I want everybody to live a long, healthy life and understand that suicide does not have to be the answer. Let's go on. The basal ganglia, located deep in the brain, helps facilitate movement and may be involved in memory, thinking, and emotional processing. Some studies have found shrinkage and other structural changes in the basal ganglia in people with depression. That's a tongue twister right there. The brain usually produces levels of neurotransmitters that keep senses, learning, movement, and moods at the optimum level. But in some people where they are experiencing depression, this system is messed up. And so, two of the neurotransmitters that most of us know are serotonin and dopamine. These are significantly impacted by the low levels of neurotransmitters that are produced. So, I want to encourage you as not to make this a 45-minute video, to go and do some research and go and do some study and find out what's happening physiologically when a person is experiencing depressive mood disorder or depressive symptoms that are longer than 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And then try to understand, after you do that, you got to seek God, because God is the source and the answer. He is the healer. And this is why Jesus died, that we might be healed from all these illnesses and disease. So please understand, when I come on here and I speak about science, it's always with the thought that God is the healer. So whatever information I'm giving you, because there is a part that we do have to play, because like I said, depression is a stress-related illness. It is basically how someone has opted to respond to the sadness and the disappointments that they experience. But ultimately, we could take that stuff to God and God could work it out. All right. Let's go ahead and end this because it's already 13 minutes and I don't want to keep you all day. So come back and join me tomorrow on Thursday. How can you tell if someone may be experiencing a severe case of depression? We want to come back and talk about that because we do have some people who can function with depression and they fool us all the time. So again, like if you look at Twitch, you look at Robert Williams, two of my favorite people. I didn't know them, but two people I really thought highly of for their skill level, their craft, what they were called to do here in the earth. You can be fooled. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But until then, have a great